episode 4.
Oh, the big 4.
Here we are, the big 4.
I'm going to say that with every episode. The big this, the big that.
This. Well, thank you guys for coming for another episode.
So
we're excited to be recording.
4 is my favorite number. So this is going to be the greatest episode we ever do. No, I'm more and more so. I'm excited that this is already 4 that we've done.
Yeah, it's kind of
cool.
It's a little surreal. It almost when we got done recording our last episode, which we are doing in the same recording session that we're recording this one in. If that made sense, that felt like a tumble of a sentence.
Nowadays, I actually think that they had no problem understanding that. The way that everything is nowadays, yeah.
After we got done recording, we were like, wow, that was a breeze and everything. So it's starting to feel natural, and I like that.
Yeah. Not only because I'm enjoying us creatively getting a chance to build more and more chemistry, but just for the fun of this, I think it works.
It's so much fun. I'm so excited.
So I think you got to pull the first one.
Yes, I did.
So I'm going to go ahead and get this one.
Out of the Muppet quote/fact hat.
We've got 2 quotes and 1 fact so far. So let's see
the
if we
quotes
can.
are winning.
Yeah,
And
the quotes are winning.
for anyone that's not watching, we never described the hats that we're pulling out of.
Yeah.
So this is a bucket hat that's white on one side and it's reversible, and it's sunflowers on the other side.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Yeah.
cool. I like it. Nice. So our first one, our quote or fact here is a fact. It looks like it's
They're
a
tied.
fact. Yes, 2 to 2. For those who have seen the Muppet Movie Reprise from 2011, starring Jason Segel, is it?
Oh yeah, we were going through this on episode 1.
Jason, reach out to us, please. Let us know.
Jason.
And you can mispronounce Maloff all you want. Starring Jason Segel, he is actually one of the main reasons the movie came to be. He and the director of the movie, Forgetting Sarah Marshall, also starring Segel, connected the concocted the plot and concept for the new Muppet movie after Segel's character in Forgetting Sarah Marshall wrote a puppet musical about Dracula. Segel is a lifelong Muppet fan, and the Jim Henson production company obviously loved the idea because it's the Muppet movie we have today.
Yes, and I love that Muppet movie, and when I found this fact out, it just made me so unbelievably happy that it was Jason that pretty much made it happen.
Yeah.
Had that idea, and that it came from a Muppet fan himself.
I remember the trailer really well, and I remember seeing it because at the time there wasn't, we were a good years removed from the movie before that, which I believe was Muppets in Space, I think, was right before that.
I think you are right.
So that's a late 90s movie. This one comes out almost 10 years later. Or actually more than 10 years later.
I was in high school at the time when it came out.
So I was first, and this is at the time when, it's 2011, isn't that long ago, but it feels like it because now trailers we're getting years in advance, you know, and we're hearing about these things even more before that. I mean, God, if you're a Marvel fan, you know what's coming out in 10 years,
right?
From that. So we get so ahead of this stuff. I remember being taken back by, there's a new Muppet movie. I'm glad that they're still making those. And then I seen Jason, and at first, for two thoughts instantaneously happening at the same time. One, I don't know if I've ever seen an actor look more like a Muppet.
In the best way.
In the most complimentary way. He's a handsome man. He's got me beat by that. He's a very handsome man. But he's, for those that don't know, Jason was a baller. He was a basketball player. He went to, I believe, Stanford, I think, and got a basketball scholarship. I'm so sorry if I'm getting this wrong.
Wow, I didn't know that. He's really tall, but honestly, I don't think I would have pegged him as an athletic person.
Sure.
Not to be mean.
But,
I love you, Jason.
He in a similar, not completely parallel, but in a similar story to like the Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. There's a parallel universe where we never see them as actors. The Rock was going to be a football player. He doesn't blow out his knee. He never becomes an action, or maybe he does, just where later in life when his career is over. The same thing with Jason, where he, as far as I know and I've seen in interviews, was a big fan of basketball and could have by all rights just been a baller in his career and stuff.
I had no idea.
I also immediately made sense. So seeing him looks like a Muppet. Then secondary thought, Well, that makes perfect sense. He's obviously a fan of the Muppets.
Yeah.
Like his career was doing well, and you don't jive into that world unless you are comfortable with your career and you are comfortable with your career going a different direction.
Yeah.
Image is so conscious and so put on us as actors, even at my level, where nobody knows who that guy am, and it's still such a big thing.
Yeah.
So you're going to go into the kids' world, essentially. Even though a lot of us as adults love the Muppets and everything, it is still kind of pegged as a kids' industry.
It's a family movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going from Forgetting Sarah Marshall in a very adult comedy, going into that world. For one, you want to show that you can do that maybe, but also, like, this is a passion thing. Like, whatever happens with my career, I'm okay with. I want to do this.
I got
That's
to
how
work
much
with
it
the
means
Muppets.
to me.
Like, how amazing is that to say?
To look behind the curtain for a second here, I had never seen Muppets in Space and recently watched it. And throughout the movie, there's, cameos. And you're seeing a Ray Liotta, you're seeing a David Arquette and people like that, and a Kathy Griffin and all these people. And like with certain ones, like Ray Liotta. Ray Liotta's made a career out of being a tough guy. And here he is in a Muppet movie, kind of getting made fun of a little bit, kind of like looking like a...
he gets a little schmoozed by Miss Piggy.
Yeah,
and it's so funny to see.
You don't do that if you're not comfortable with yourself as a person and as an actor. I admire that.
Yeah.
I think that that's cool.
Absolutely.
It also stands out to me like, wow, he must have, knowing a lot of the behind the scenes stuff of how many hours you have to be on set and these things, like you've really got to, he did like 4 lines and probably was on set for a good day to do that.
Yeah.
That keeps him away from other projects that he could have been doing. I scheduled this 4 or 5 months in advance. This other project comes up, I can't do that, I've committed to this. So there's so many factors to go into just doing what we see, it was funny that they did that movie, how cool of them.
Yeah.
But to him, the actor, I'm putting months aside and I'm giving up other projects possibly to do this passion thing because I'm doing, I'm sure they make a nice change from this and everything, but nobody's doing the Muppet movies for the money. Maybe nowadays, now that Disney owns it and everything, maybe you are, but you're doing it because you really love it. You're doing it with the understanding that whatever happens in my career after this, I'm cool. Like, I'm all right with that.
I love that. That's such an awesome perspective to have on it.
This is a cool fact, and I didn't know this, but I love these facts where you hear them and you're like, that makes sense. Yeah. Even though you didn't know it, it feels like you already knew it.
Exactly. And I love how versatile Jason Segel's career has been, his palette for his movies is insane. Like he can go from SLC Punk. I don't know if you've seen that.
Oh yeah.
You have?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, we should talk about it later. So he's in that, and then he goes from the How I Met Your Mother show, and then to the Muppets. It's just wild.
I know for me, and the actors that I've studied, that most of them want to be most of them want to be able to play anything and do anything and have that a part of their career. I know for me, the biggest thing I want is people to be able to say that he can play anybody. And I'm sure Jason's similar to that in that way. One thing that he did that I want to note, he did a TV show on TNT a while back that he produced and I believe directed.
Wow.
It was a very odd show, but wonderful.
I would peg it as odd.
Andre
in
from
the best way.
Andre 3000 from Outcast is in it, and
cool.
he's so good in it too. There is there's no bad acting. Every person that's in his cast is really good. There's some great character actors in it. It's a little bit of a thinker. It's a little bit of a takes you on a journey kind of thing.
Okay.
But it's a very adventurous piece. It's a very I think brave piece to do, and I was really cool to see somebody I've seen do a lot of work and seeing a whole different side to him. I thought it was very. He brought stuff to that performance that I haven't seen him do before.
Cool.
If you're a fan of his, I would encourage people to see it. I cannot remember the name. I am having a hard time remembering the name.
Just look up Jason Segel and see his shows and stuff.
when we did those first 2 episodes, I was driving back and I'm thinking about it and I'm kicking myself like, oh, I probably messed this fact up, or I probably didn't get this part right. And I thought, well, maybe what we need to do with the future episodes is have a computer here and we can double check these things so we're factually accurate.
Yeah.
Doing that last one, I actually take it all back. I like it like this. Go ahead and correct us. Go ahead and if I get something wrong.
Yeah.
I think that one of the fun things of this is not only dad and daughter getting to do this together, but this should be something that isn't perfect.
Yeah,
that is a little bit, like your everyday conversations. We want you to feel like you're part of this conversation.
Yeah, and you totally are.
In real conversations, we get things wrong.
Yeah.
We're not accurate all the time. We get references wrong.
Yeah, or we stumble over our words, as I have done many times throughout this series.
And I will do many more times.
Well, should we pick out who's going to be the Muppet or Muppet Movie?
Mm-hmm. And it's your choice this time.
Oh my goodness. And to describe this hat, it is a Bubba Gump shrimp hat that my last year for, almost like Christmas, for Halloween, my fiance and I dressed up as Forrest and Jenny. So we bought him this hat online and we still have it.
Good luck to any couples out there trying to do the Halloween thing, because you guys have this down. Nobody's doing it like you guys are.
I am a Halloween fiend. I love dressing up and pretending to be somebody else.
For those, I'm with you. My favorite holiday by far and away. For those that are on the gram and getting on there and everything, be sure to look at Bria's account and see the picture of you and Matt as Bob and Linda from Bob's Burgers. It's one of my favorite pictures ever.
Oh my
easily.
gosh, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't find like a black wig to save the life of me, so I found some temporary spray, and we used that. Oh, talk about a nightmare to get out. It washed out, but it just made my hair texture really yucky, but worth it. I got that picture.
It's so worth it. I did, I with my characters, I never like to wear wigs, so I've done a billion different things to my hair, and for one of my characters, I had to go blonde.
Really?
So I bleached it. The lady, Sue, doing my hair bleached it, and I'll never forget, she gets done, and my scalp feels like it's on fire.
Yeah.
And okay, all right, but I got through it, thank goodness. Thanks, Sue, and I'm getting ready to kind of get in, and she's like, what are you doing? I'm done, right? It's like, no, we got to do that again. That was just one time, and barely put a dent. Yeah, barely put a dent in my hair. My God,
I don't know if I could imagine you with blonde hair.
Oh, it's not something anybody should. It's really it's a crime against humanity almost. It's I'm lucky my hair is still with me and didn't just leave me in that moment.
Right. Peace out. We're not coming back.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see what Muppet or Muppet movie we have this episode. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, it's Sweetums!
Sweetums, yes!
The 9-foot tall bag of a bunch of random fabric brown hair.
Oh.
I love Sweetums. I'm excited.
If you don't know the name Sweetums, you know who Sweetums is.
Yeah, you know
You're just
him for
oh,
sure.
That's Sweetums.
Yeah.
That's his name.
He's the giant Muppet that's got the big jowl mouth that opens really wide, and he's kind of rags and
this
hair.
This is so wild. So I actually I knew as soon as you said Sweetums who it was, but because I cheated. When I did watch the Muppet movie the other day, I was thinking about the background Muppets.
Yeah.
The Muppets that are always in there in the background, and they always have been. They don't get a lot of lines, but we've seen them for decades in the background of there. And I think the biggest one is Sweet. Well, by far, literally the biggest one.
Yeah.
The biggest one, but the one that I've seen the most in my life, and the one I remember all the time is Sweetums. And I couldn't remember his name, so I had to look him up right away. And sure enough, as I'm like, well, I don't know how to describe it. I don't know how long this is going to take.
Yeah.
I was just typing it in Google immediately. It pops
I got
up.
your back.
Yeah, immediately knew
You're
who
not
I was
the only
talking
one.
about. Yeah, the others have definitely looked this up before.
I'm so excited that we pulled him, because Sweetums, first off, what a perfect name, because he is sweet.
Yeah.
He's the definition of a gentle giant.
I have a lifetime great friend, Steve, who I'll embarrass, Steve Heath, who, if you see Steve, if he walks in this room right now, Steve looks like like he came out of a biker movie, maybe, but real. Like he's not posing. This is who he
he's
really
a tough
is.
guy.
Yeah, he's got the tats. He's got a sleeve. He's got all this stuff, and you get to know Steve, and you get talking to him like,
Steve.
This is a teddy bear. This man is a teddy bear. He is a sweet
fly.
human being. He's a good, caring human being.
Steve.
Sweetums is that is Steve. That is Stev, actually, as we call him. Sweetums also, one of the reasons I looked him up, I wanted to see, like, did Sweetums ever have his moment? Like, almost every Muppet gets that moment in the sun, that kind of thing. No, I just, and I was trying to think, did Sweetums ever get that? Because I would love to have seen, like, an episode or a movie based on, or, like, where he's the featured character.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if he did in, like, the original Muppet show, but in the first Muppet movie, I know that he kind of has that B plot of, like, he's at the car dealership and he's like, wait for me guys, I want to go to Hollywood, and he's running after them. Me too, it's so iconic. It would be so funny if somehow, like, the Jim Henson, like, company made a movie about Sweetums' perspective of that entire movie and what he went through, like the adventure of Sweetums.
Yes,
that would be amazing.
The movie's the same.
It's the exact same.
Starts there, but then it goes in a different direction from that scene. Oh, that's so good.
And I feel like they could definitely pull it off.
Yeah.
They would have to have some kind of, like, filter on the camera, because the original Muppet movie just has, like, I don't know, it's like older movies, like the film they use. Yes, the green. Yeah.
Some of it's 16-bit or 16 millimeters. Some of it is 9.
Okay.
But yeah.
Look at you coming in here with all the numbers and stuff.
I'm a film nerd, so
I love that.
I there's something about that they would have to do.
Yes.
They would have to have that screen on.
But how amazing would that be? Sweetums' Big Adventure.
Oh, you've
it's
got
never
the name.
Been sweeter.
No, you.
Oh my God.
No, we're writing this. We have to pause this, everybody. We gotta write that.
Yeah, we gotta
we'll
write this stuff down.
Oh, that's good.
He deserves so much.
He does.
So, how would you? We know him, like, physically. How would you describe Sweetums' personality-wise?
Like a bouncing ball. You know, you know how sometimes like with sing-along stuff, and there's the ball that bounces on the word to help you know when to sing along. Like he's that.
I love that. That.
I don't know why they thought of that,
amazing.
but that's what I think of it.
I think that we've already said he's very sweet.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he always has the best intentions. Whether he's able to complete the task or not, we don't know, but he is always just has the best intentions for you, and I would love to be friends with Sweetums. Like, we record this podcast in my dining room, and you can see into the living room, and I just imagine sitting on the couch with Sweetums. He's taking up most of the couch, and that's fine. But just having this, like, platonic, super best friend relationship where we can, like, cuddle up on the couch because he's huge, and he just puts on a movie, and he's holding the bowl of popcorn, and I'm like, Sweetums, you're the best.
I want that now. I want that.
Everyone deserves an emotional support Sweetums.
I think actually everybody deserves an emotional support Muppet now. Now that I'm thinking about it, like, they're soft, they're cuddly. Like, how great would that be to have a friend like that? The world would
be a better place.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. We need to get on that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm sure that if we propose that to our government, they'll get that through in no time.
Oh, absolutely.
No problems whatsoever. What could go wrong? It's a fun one. This is a good one.
This is amazing, yeah.
This is, I know we touched on this before, but this is such the essence of this show. It's great to be able to touch on Kermit and these big names, but gives us an opportunity to give Sweetums his episode.
Exactly.
That we're talking about. We're giving him his episode right now. But he deserves more, but, you know, give him his due.
This.
Yeah. It's a good place to start.
So, what scenario are we going to put Sweetums in with us? In our, do you want to describe this Muppet hat?
What kind of hat is it? I mean, it's like a yellow, soft, it's cotton.
Yeah, I would say it's knit. It's like a knit hat. It's very big. It's comically big when I wear it.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, and it's like soundproof. I wore it, my fiance, he is a hockey player, like throughout since, I don't know, he could walk. So he's super good at skating. I am not that coordinated, so putting me on the ice is pretty much like that scene in Bambi where Bambi's on the ice. So I'm wearing this hat, and I can't hear anything, so we're just skating and hoping for the best. But yeah, it's a big knit yellow hat.
It looks very comfortable too.
Okay, Sweetums. What scenario are you going to be in with us?
What are we going to put Sweetums in here? What scenario?
I almost don't want this episode to end.
I know.
I
I want to drag this one. I'm just
going
to talk very slowly. What large, well-known city would you see this Muppet thriving in? Wow.
Oh, wow. Oh, Sweden. We were just talking about Sweden's living this like an adventure.
Yeah.
What big city? So I want to try to think like we're in the U.S. If you couldn't tell by our accents, we were in Wisconsin. I want to think like inside the U.S. but also like outside.
Yeah.
I feel like I could see him in like a country in Europe, or a country in Europe. Oh my god, a city in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say like not Germany, maybe like the Netherlands.
So we're thinking similar.
Okay.
And actually, yes.
Well, Sweden.
Oh my God! Yeah,
Sweden.
Yeah, Sweden. Yeah, there we go. And
Sweden.
We can move on. Next one. That's it. That's the one. That's it. Perfect. Oh, that's good.
I feel like he'd be such a great greeter.
So good.
You hop off the train in Sweden, and he's just there, and he's like, "Welcome to Sweden, and we're so happy to have you here. Here's a bike rental, and let's go."
I don't know what country, but some country needs to hire him to do this right
Absolutely.
now. This is his gig. I mean, you're gonna kick up your tourism dollars by tenfold.
Exactly. Yeah, I would already maybe go to Sweden. Not even maybe. I would go there.
Oh, yeah.
But I would go there even more if I knew that Sweden's was waiting there for us just to guide us through.
I think one of the more cooler things to happen in human history is the story of Germany and where they were in history, where of course obviously World War II took them, and where they are now, where they have owned their history. They have been so. I think done the perfect dance of owning their history while not trying to apologize for ancestors necessarily or something that they shouldn't have to apologize for. They didn't do, and that kind of thing. And how we do that as a society, we're trying to do that here in America too. Every country has. Every country's got blood on its hands. What they have done of embracing it and welcoming in, not obviously just our people, but people in general. And being, come here. We don't want to be stereotyped as this anymore. And it's turned into now where, if you're looking at Googling most welcoming countries in the world, Germany's one of those countries. And one of the more, they've got their problems like every country does.
Yeah.
But they flipped that so much, and I don't know how you would, like on paper, how you would pull something like that off. I think it's really cool. So I think Germany wasn't a bad one to go to for Sweden's at first. Just to go at a different angle, since you took out the rest of the world, I like that. Looking at America here.
Yes, you read my mind.
I think somewhere in the Northeast.
Okay.
In the Northeast, we have some smaller like New Hampshires and Maines that still have some of that knowing your neighbors quality to them. Yeah. And I think he would thrive in a place like that.
Yeah.
I think we have that in the Midwest here too. So I think that to be a Midwest homer, I would say, because I think Chicago, I love my city. It's a little bit too much rustle and bustle. Yeah. I think a Madison would be a really good fit for him.
Yeah, everyone would know him.
Yes.
Like, oh yeah, there's Sweetums. He's just walking down the street.
Like he's got the rustle and bustle of a bigger city,
Absolutely.
But with some of that still, hey, I hold the door open for people kind of thing.
Oh, Sweetums. That makes me so happy. Yeah. And this weekend is, not to like put a timestamp on this episode, but this weekend is my bachelorette party and we're going to Madison. So just imagining that I could run into Sweetums during my bachelorette party and I would most definitely tell him to join us just makes me happy.
I'm actually in this moment thinking of getting married just so I could have a bachelor party since Sweetums would be at. I have no plans of this right now, but now all of a sudden I want to just so I could have that scenario.
Could you imagine him in like a bow tie up front when you're going to get married?
Sweetums also one of the few that could be at the bachelorette and bachelor parties. Like he could be at both of them.
Very gender fluid.
Yes,
absolutely.
Yes.
I completely agree. My best girlfriend.
It's good stuff. But not only your partner on the couch when you need him, but they're at the bachelor and bachelorette parties.
Absolutely. Wow. Sweetums, my heart's just glowing right
Sweetums
now.
is really good at
I'm
this.
so
Really
happy.
good at this episode.
Oh, and last but certainly not least, the Would You hat, which is also like a knit. It's like a knit slouch beanie.
Also the hat that I think I could pull off the best out of all these.
I agree. I love this hat. It's so comfy. It's so comfy and cozy. All right, Would You for Sweetums.
Or would you for Sweetums?
I wish we had like 5 more hats.
I kind of do too.
I love Sweetums.
We'll just pause it. We'll just keep adding
Yeah.
hats at it.
All right, I've got one. If you wouldn't mind setting that
Oh,
over.
this was from
Thank you. All right, Would You for Sweetums. Would you rather? Oh, another Would You rather.
Oh.
Would you rather let this Muppet redecorate your house or give you a complete makeover?
Oh.
Wow. Wow. That is an interesting question to pose around Sweetums.
Quick timeout.
Yes.
A shout out to my amazing daughter. These questions and things you came up with. These are awesome. Like
Thank
these,
you.
every one of these have been stellar. I love all.
Thank you.
So, time it.
I wrote these so not like super long ago, but kind of, and I have so much going on that it's honestly a blur. I don't really remember.
No,
as soon as they're read, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember writing that. But as they sit in the hats, I do not remember them.
As a side funny thing to me, it's been great to see your reactions to these because I see that flood over you. Yeah. Like, oh, I don't remember that. Oh yeah, that's great.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, so would you rather have Sweetums walk you through a thrift store, department store, a department store? Like, what year is it? To pick out home decor, or have them give you a complete makeover?
So usually these, it's kind of like a lesser of two evils almost, you know. But I love how you built these where it's actually the opposite. I would have him do both. I would be okay with either one of these, and let him choose. So with the wardrobe part, it was the house and the wardrobe. Yeah, the makeover.
Well, makeover, that's like your entire thing.
Right.
So hair, everything.
So a makeover of your house or a makeover of you.
Yes.
Kind of the questions.
Yeah.
This is tough. I
think if you want to think about it, I think I have my answer.
Yeah, you go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so I like the way that my house is like decorated, so I don't know if I could give that up because it always means a lot to me. It's like Matt described it the other day, my fiance, and he was like, it's like eclectic. Like, thank you. That's such a big compliment.
Yeah, it is good. I like that. It is a compliment.
But I feel like Sweetums would have this like, I don't know, this energy about him and his kindness and confidence that he would like give you confidence. Like, you could pull that off. Are you kidding me?
I like that.
And I feel like you could give me this new awakening of like, I never thought about having that hairstyle or those clothes or something like that. So I think I have a little more leeway with a makeover.
I like it.
Than a house makeover.
I wouldn't have thought of that about him. I'm glad you said that. You're right. Sweetums would be a great like cheerleader, like a great partner, a great friend to have around, a great creative. Even if he didn't add to the podcast, just to have him in the room with us.
Exactly.
He'd be so encouraging. It'd be so great. What does Sweetums do?
He's our emotional support.
Yeah, he's our emotional support Muppet. That's what he
I love Sweetums.
It's great. Love him. Top character for me. So as bad as I am with clothing and dressing myself and my style and everything, and I could really use the help, I'm even worse with designing like my apartment. And I love the idea of letting somebody else, especially Sweetums, do it, because I'd like to see what they come up with.
That's true.
I feel like with the wardrobe thing, it's almost like if you've ever had a hairstyle that they can do in the salon, but you cannot pull off at home.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, I feel like that's what would happen with my wardrobe. Like, whether it's him or the Queer Eye guys or anybody.
Oh, I love them.
Like, I appreciate all the work that they would put into me, but it would be like an hour later and it's gone.
Tam needs to be with you day to day to hold your hand. Jimmy, you need to wear this or that.
Yeah. Whereas the house thing, I probably wouldn't tinker with too much.
Yeah.
I know how it is. I'm like, I like what Sweetums did.
I feel like he would pick out some really interesting pieces too. And every time you look at it, you think of him.
I wouldn't think Adobe would work here, but I did it. It worked out. It worked out. I do think too, Sweetums would. I would worry. I would have to check in on Sweetums, whether it's the wardrobe or this, because I feel like Sweetums is a classic overthinker.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think about that before when we were describing it, but yeah, now I'm coming back to it. I like a classic, like, oh, purple or pink, yeah, not being able to decide. Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Like, come by 5 hours later and he's still trying to decide, purple or pink, I don't know. And poor guy. Well intended, but poor overthinking.
Always well intended, yes. Okay, well, I like that we had like different answers for that, because last episode with lips, we were both like, no cooking.
Yeah, no cooking.
Just the wardrobe. Yeah. I like that.
That was fun.
Sweetums, oh my gosh. That I really loved all of the other Muppets we did, but I feel like this one we were both emotionally even more invested in, because he's just such a sweet character.
It's so weird too, that I kind of, some of these characters, especially like a Sweetums, I'm almost getting, I am getting reintroduced to. I've been a good at least 10 some years since I've been really familiar with these characters. The famous ones, and like a character like Gonzo, that's one of my favorite like characters, period. Yeah. Not just Muppet, like just characters or anything.
Absolutely.
They're still fresh with me, and always will be. But there's certain characters like a Sweetums, like even some bigger characters like a Miss Piggy that has kind of faded from my memory a little bit. That not only am I falling in love with all over again, but like walking into this with pure improv.
Oh,
the pure like, well, now that I'm thinking of them, actually, and it stays with me. Watching the Muppets in Space the other day, I'm getting ready for the morning show on Monday that I do, and all I'm thinking about, like, I got things to do here, but I can't stop thinking about that line from that movie. It's so
Pepe.
Good. Pepe, man. The evolution of these characters too has been cool to see. Yeah. Where they've been, you wouldn't think of it with a Muppet, but they've grown over the years, and they've gotten a chance to we've seen more of them.
Yeah. Oh, I know that we invented this podcast, but I really love it. Like we've kept saying, it shines a light on the Muppets that haven't gotten like the biggest spotlight. And I love that we have Jim Henson created such a perfect world for this as well. Because even with like small clips on screen, because Sweetums doesn't get that much screen time, we still have this like huge emotional connection to him where we can see, like, we're probably looking too deep into it. We are.
Oh, yeah.
We're not blind to that.
No.
But it's amazing that we can dive into these characters like this because they are so animated and there's so much love and intention put into them.
For people that continue to listen to the podcast, you can have a little side game of how many times James mentions The Simpsons. So go ahead and take a drink or whatever, mark your calendar, whatever you do. But to me, it's my favorite show of all time. And I'm biased. But I'm not wrong on certain things when I say it's hard to argue it's the greatest show ever created. In part because, to me, what is one of the definitions of a great show? When it can spin off into something else. All in the Family turns into the Jeffersons, and from Cheers turns into Frasier, this spin-off thing. And it's only done when you are able to create these characters that are so great and so big, and that audiences want more and want to see more of these characters. The Simpsons started with 5 basic characters, and now there are fringe characters that are household names. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how big that show got. That's how big how good they are creatively, that they've been able to create Ned Flanders as a modern character that everybody knows, and even though he's not one of the bigger characters on the show always, he has kind of become one now, but that's because of his popularity with the audience. Yeah. The audience made him big, so the creators made him bigger.
I love that.
The Muppets did this, even before The Simpsons did, where you start out with Kermit and Miss Piggy and Ralph and some of these basics, but as the years went on, all of a sudden the Sweetums comes up, and an Animal comes out. Animal didn't start out that big. Yeah. Society made Animal that big. The fans made Animal that big. It's pretty cool to see that. Yeah. Creatively, just as a lover of the arts, as creativity, I think that's just so powerful. I can't even wrap my mind around what it might be like to be a piece of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. I love it.
And it gives us a segue into thanking not only obviously Jim Henson and his kids and that whole production company, but everybody that's ever worked on those sets, the puppeteers and so many people, the designers and the creators.
It's revolutionary.
It is, yeah. Like few art forms. Thank you.
Yeah, and another thank you to you.
Yeah.
Like PBS style, viewers like you.
Yes, absolutely. Which is fitting.
Yes, and thank you so much for watching, for listening, for supporting our very dorky conversations about the Muppets. We super appreciate it.
And shout out to PBS. Shout out to public. God,
we
we
both
love
PBS kids.
Absolutely.
We addressed that a few episodes ago.
Yeah. So big thank you to them, and yes, thank you so much to you out there for watching, for listening. Spread the word about this. We want more and more people to join in the Muppet love.
Yeah, exactly, because there's always more room for Muppet Heads. Absolutely, and if you want to follow us for more stuff, check out Instagram and YouTube at What the Muppet Pod.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and thank you, Sweetums, for
Sweetums.
such a great episode.
It was a sweet episode.
That's perfect. We'll see you guys later.